I grabbed a pallet to get my porch ready for Halloween. I used my battery chainsaw to easily cut the edges of the pallet boards. I used a hammer to bang the boards off and then removed the nails. I lined the boards up and used one vertically to create an even space between each board. I drew a pumpkin shape over 4 of the boards and then carefully marked the back of each board so I knew which way was up and which order they went in. I also marked 2 boards to put on the back lengthwise. I sanded the front and edges of each board with 150 grit sandpaper, just enough to reduce slivers. I diluted orange spice-colored acrylic paint with water and painted the sanded surfaces on each board, then immediately wiped the extra paint off with a clean cotton rag. I also painted the back 2 boards. Then I flipped them over with the back side up and spaced them on a flat surface in order, using that 1 extra board as a spacer again. I placed the 2 back pieces on vertically, making sure that all the wood boards were touching it. I used 3/4 inch nails in my 18 gauge brad nailer and secured the boards together, nailing from the back side. I drew out a stem, cut it with my jigsaw, sanded and painted it with watered down woodland brown colored acrylic paint. I wiped the extra off with a rag the same way I did the orange. I used a pencil to draw a face and painted it with black acrylic paint, and now I have 2 super cute jack-o'-lanterns that will never blow out. I hope this inspired you to create your own pallet jack-o'-lantern or pumpkins.
I hoped you liked that last DIY, but don't hit the stop button yet. Subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes, and stay tuned. We got another one coming right up.
Dollar Tree this time of year has got some great Halloween stuff out there. Just go through and pick up anything and everything you need. So what we want to do is grab an old pallet, any kind will do, and we're going to lay it out, start painting the top. Looking for some gray primer to put on the top. Now, the reason we're going to use a primer is, number one, it's going to help with any moisture, especially with the fall season approaching. We want to cover basically all the top and get that base coat on there. It also helps with any light reflection, especially from the lights that we're going to add. Next, I think we should do some two-tone. Let's go ahead and put a little black paint on there. It's going to make this project shine a little bit more. Just random, put it on there. No need to put it on too thick. And then a little driftwood, which is a little bit of white. Give us a 3-tone paint. Let's go ahead and put the palette exactly where we want it. Let's grab those cheap old lights and get them out. We're going to start placing those all underneath the palette. Put those up and under and around and through. Now, if they start to get a little bit out of the way or they're going to recoil, just grab a stapler and put it down in there. Make sure you don't puncture the wire itself. Also, where the plug is going to be, make sure you put that up there. Keeps it out of the rain. Now, the great thing about these plugs is they plug in to the back of each other. You can put 4 or 5 or 6 of those on and they won't overheat. Then we want to do is make sure, get all those lights out from underneath. I use 4 strands on this one. You could use 5 or 6. 3 might be a little too light, so put it on there, especially with all these orange lights. You want to cover the surrounds on the sides a little bit. I had some bricks laying around. You could use some rock or some bark dust. I took the brick and I kind of separated it because some of the light is going to come out from the bottom. That will give us a chance to allow the light to go ahead and shine through just a few of these gaps. So I got the bricks all put around, and then next, remember those skulls? Let's just wedge those through the pallet wood right there and pop it right into place. Go ahead and put as many as you want. I think I chose 3 or 4 for this project, and I just randomly put them up, especially to pay attention and look at the people coming up. Next, we want to put those little skull hands up there. These little skeleton hands just look great. I did put just a dab of glue just to hold it in place in case the wind came up. Now these hands look like they're reaching up through the bars coming from the ground. And then remember those orange twigs? They look like fire just raging out of the bottom. So put them up, spread them out. And then last but not least, I found a little rat at Dollar Tree, put it right on top there. Add a few little signs on the sides, and then once the lights come on, look at that. Right at the entrance where the little trick-or-treaters come up to grab their candy, you can have a little flasher on the signs if you want, but look at this project. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it, and we can't wait to see you again on Home Talk. For today's project, we're going to start with some hula hoops. Take your first 2 hula hoops and you're going to place them one inside the other. It's going to deform it a little bit, but that's all right. Take a zip tie and you're going to use it to join the 2 tops of the hula hoops. Pull it tight. Now the hula hoop's going to go a little crazy on you, but that's okay. You're going to put 2 of those together and they're going to be crisscross to each other. That's what's going to hold it in place. Go ahead and use your scissors. Take off the excess zip ties right there. And then what we're going to do is turn it over, and we got to do the same thing on the other side. That's what's going to hold these together. So again, use the zip ties, put them crisscross on each other, and make sure you pull them nice and tight. If it deforms the hula hoop a little bit, that's okay. Cut off the excess, and now it's time to put the third one in. This one can be a little tricky, but go ahead and put it on the inside. It's easier to work with. Again, using the zip ties, put them together. The hula hoops kind of want to go their own way, but use the zip ties and hold them in place. The more, the better. It is ready to go. We're going to take it outside and give it a nice paint job. Make sure the paint you use is good for plastic. Now, since we're making us a yard pumpkin, we want to use a nice orange spray. This covers really good, and you're just going to hang it up and paint every single bit of that plastic, anywhere that you have a color that you don't want. The next step is we're going to use some of these fairy lights. I went ahead and got the orange ones. They're really good, easy to get off Amazon. They come with a remote, and the great thing about them is they're 33 feet long. Plenty to cover all of your pumpkin, especially with this waterproof case for the batteries. Go ahead and zip tie the battery pack to the bottom. This way it'll have some weight on the bottom when you're holding it steady. Go ahead and take the fairy lights and start wrapping. Don't think that you're going to wrap too tight. Just put it on there. There's 33 feet of this. Plenty to go. You're going to go up, down, and all around every one of the tubes. Once you go ahead and get to the end, just use a little bit of tape it off. Next, I got some 16 gauge wire. Use this and we're going to make the stem. I pre-drilled some holes with a drill, poked it through. Make sure you have plenty of wire and just wrap it around. It looks like a stem when you push it up there, and you're going to put 2 ends in. Pull it through, again wrap it around the hula hoops. That's what's going to help hold it together. And then you're going to want to shape it. I just went ahead and did a simple stem. The last step was some small fairy lights. These are only about a couple of feet long. Zip tie the control to the bottom. And what you're going to do, again, is wrap it all over around the stem. Go up and down and make sure you cover everything. If you have a little bit too much at the end, you can go ahead and start going back again. It is going to look great. Just get it all wrapped around. It's time to take it outside. Use some wire or tent stake to hold your pumpkin down. And there we are. Once nightfall comes, use the remote and there you go. Now I did an orange one and a white one. And the great thing about these lights is the lights can flash and do 8 different modes. And wow, what a scene from the street. It looks amazing. I hope you enjoyed this project. We sure did. And we can't wait to see you again on Home Talk.